Okay. All right. Okay. What up, people? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is right now that you are listening to me as I talk to you. Um, it's Sunday. Beautiful, not a beautiful day, but it's Sunday. So, plus I'm not going to work tomorrow, so that's always a plus. I'm just here today to talk a couple of minutes here about the good sis Candace Owens, right? Now, Candace, she's been hotter than fish grease the last couple of weeks, really, right? Now, I've been following Candace Owens not regularly, but she has been in my like psyche for like the last 5-6 years, really. So I'm familiar with Candace Owens, right? And you know, recently she's been on a little bit of a run. I saw her on the Joe Budden podcast being interviewed by Joe Budden. I then saw her. She was on the Breakfast Club. She had a couple of clips going around from her personal podcast that when she was with the Daily Wire before they kind of went their separate ways. That were really good. She was on Fresh and Fit. She was on the whatever podcast. Those are like those Manosphere podcasts where they have a whole bunch of OnlyFans girls and stuff get together and they bring some guest on like a conservative or somebody to talk bad about them. So Candace Owens, she's been on like a tear, and she got fired or she went her separate ways from the Daily Wire, and the response has been very interesting. And so I kind of want to give kind of my, or to admit publicly that Candace Owens is growing on me, right? And she's been growing on me for a while too. So this isn't like just a, last couple of weeks type of thing. Um, I have really liked the way Candace has kind of a, I don't give a fuck attitude about a lot of things, right? Like, she was on the Daily Wire, kind of the only voice really that I saw that was actively speaking out against Israel with this whole Israel versus Palestine situation. She was one of the individuals back when when Kanye was going through his thing with the Kanye was saying wild stuff about Jews and Hitler and stuff. But before that, right? So like that happened, but if you remember right before that, he was having, I think, reasonable conversations around the influence of who controls hip hop, who controls the black voice, and Candace spoke about those topics on her show. She had her, what is it, the Black Lives Matter documentary. Never saw it. I'll be clear, never saw that documentary, so I can't tell you if it was a good documentary, if it was a bad documentary. But I just respect the balls that it takes to go ahead and put a documentary out like that, knowing you're gonna get pushback and a whole bunch of people calling you all types of coons, this and sell out that, and Uncle Toms and whatever. Can you call a woman an Uncle Tom? I'm not sure, but anyway, so she has been growing on me, right? And here's why. When she first kind of entered my social space, I was kind of iffy on Candace Owens, right? For a couple of reasons. Reason number one, and this might not be fair, but it is honest. And I did a video, well, a podcast, but I made it like a TikTok video a couple of maybe 2-3 years ago, where I kind of spoke about Candace was somebody who she talked a lot about black people and about black culture, but she was with a white man, married to a white man, which really isn't shocking, right? There's you can kind of see these conservatives, these black conservatives. You at least I can tell kind of who are the people that, they got a white wife or like a white husband at home, right? They just got a look to them, like a look or an energy, a vibe, which isn't all of them because you do have a lot of, not a lot, but I know of black conservatives that are married to black people. Delano Squires, Sonny Johnson, I don't know if he's married, but I know, Wilford Riley, definitely is somebody who, he probably dates some white chicks, but he dates some sisters too. So there are black conservatives that do date and marry black women, but you can kind of tell the ones who don't really. And Candace Owens, it was not shocking in the least, for me anyway, that she was with a white man. And it felt kind of weird, and it always is going to feel weird if you are one of those white people who you talk a lot about black people and black culture, but you go and sit on a white man or sit on top of a white woman at home. Is this fair? Probably not. But it just feels icky, right? It's always going to feel icky. And I wish I could find this video just so y'all could see the point that I was making. I had said that Candace Owens would be more effective if she were married to a black man. Like, she would be more well received. She would have the opportunity for her message to spread, to more black people if she had a black man on her arm. And, I'm going to find that video right now as I'm talking. And I still believe this to be true, by the way, right? I don't think I was, wrong just because she's been, hotter than fish grease these last couple of, days. But, okay, I think I found it. Hold on. All right. Just so y'all know I ain't full of, what. How can I get to this? And excuse me if I'm a little slow with all of these, switching and sharing this, because listen, I don't really be using my the streamer like that. Okay, here we go. Share screen. I think I got it. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. So this is the clip that I did a couple of years ago about Candace Owens, and I want to play it. And talks about black culture a lot. People are going to question how genuine you are if you talk black but sleep white. It's not fair. I'm just letting you know what it is. Candace Owens probably will be a lot more effective if she's with the black man. And so if you are one of those black people that want to do things for the community, but you have an alternative perspective on things, like a conservative viewpoint, it behooves you to make sure that the people that you are romantically involved with look like the people that you're constantly chastising. Mm-hmm. And I think because Candace Owens is married to a white man, she is going to, unfortunately, have to do significantly more work to express certain opinions, because people will just look at her husband and say, oh, I mean, you don't care about black people. You chastise us, ridicule us, and then go home and ride a whiteboard. Candace. So this was my commentary about Candace Owens, saying I think Candace Owens needs to have a black man on her arm, right? And I still think she would be a lot more effective, if she went that route. But cool, she's married to a white dude, got it, right? And so I was like, it feels icky, you with this white dude and you talk about black people all the time. Even if I agreed with the critique, right? Because I agree with, a big chunk of Candace Owens's critique of black culture, specifically, right? I don't really care about talking about politics because you can have your own political opinion. To me, Candace Owens is at like her strongest when she's talking about black culture and black degeneracy, because we do have a black culture problem in America. We have taken black, degeneracy and really elevated it to this position where we think it's normal. Some of the stuff, like the sexy reds and the Ice Spices. I'm not even sure if Ice Spice is black, but Young Miami's and all the gangster rappers and the drill rap that just talks about killing this person and killing that person. We have a black culture problem, and denying that we have a black culture problem, to me, is not helping, right? Like, you're not pro-black just because you choose to only scream about the positives part about black culture, because we do have positive parts of our culture. But if you don't say anything about the negative parts of our culture, and we do have a lot of negative parts to our culture, I'm not even sure, do we have more negativity than positivity? That's debatable. But Candace Owens' willingness to talk about the negative aspects of black culture, I like that part about her the best. Again, it's going to always hit wrong when people find out that you are married to a white man, because then it's like, well, why are you so obsessed with us for, though? Right? Like, you're married white. You probably don't live in a black neighborhood. I don't think Candace Owens currently lives in a neighborhood, a zip code where there's a bunch of black people. Your kids are biracial, right? So, what investment do you really have with black people, right? That is always going to be the critique, the pushback when you are a black person who is a conservative, who is talking about the negative aspects of black people, black culture, but you are connected to a white man / woman, right? But I agree with her critiques. And so watching her kind of, go from, she was kind of like this independent person, and she really blew up because when Kanye tweeted, I like how Candace Owens thinks, and she was on the Revolt stage with Killer Mike and T.I., right? And then she kind of, got a little bit, quiet, ended up going to the Daily Wire, where she's now, whether fired or separated from, and she's back solo, independent. And I'm fascinated to see how this all plays out for Candace, because, like I said earlier, Candace was kind of like the one dissenting voice of the rest of that crew over there as it pertains to Israel, right? Now, I know, a lot of people are saying that she was also engaging in, anti-Semitic tropes and, alluding to things about Jews. And again, I was not watching all of her content. I definitely know she was arguing back and forth with a bunch of rabbis like the last couple of weeks, which, interesting. But it wouldn't shock me if she kind of took a page out of the old, Kanye playbook, say a bunch of wild things and burn, the ish down to get out of my contract, right? Now, she obviously didn't go as far as he did, but, allude to things and, play footsies with certain ideas. That wouldn't shock me at all, right? If she did do that to kind of separate herself from the Daily Wire, because she never belonged there. Candace never belonged at the Daily Wire. She was always this odd fit. You would see them take like the Daily Wire would have like their pictures, their logos. It'd be like these Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles. There's one dude I don't know. Was it Matt Welch? Is it Matt Welch? And then Candace Owens, black lady right there. And you could tell this was absolutely like a DEI hire. Like Candace Owens was hired to be on the Daily Wire because they, were trying to look diverse. And so Candace, she was kind of, she's young, she's attractive, she's she's quick with the way she talks and the way that she rebuttals and everything. And so she was kind of like a little Ben Shapiro, really, like a little black female Ben Shapiro. And so I get why they hired her, but she was diversity hired for the Daily Wire, but she never belonged there. I think none of them came to her Black Lives Matter premiere, and there was a bunch of excuses from different people, from Matt Walsh and stuff, but none of y'all came, right? Like none of the big faces that have all of these shows on Daily Wire came to Candace Owens' documentary release party. Kanye was there, and Ray J and Kid Rock. They took a picture all together. So she was always kind of this odd stepchild at the Daily Wire, right? She's gone now. I think like the guy's name's Andrew Clayton, Andrew Clappin. What's this guy's name? Hold on. I just want to find his name. Let's find this guy's name. I think it's Andrew Clappin? Clavin. So this is the dude, yeah. Andrew Clavin. And so he released this video. I'm not gonna play it because why. He released this video about Candace Owens, and that she can't be a real Christian if she doesn't like the Jews, something like that. Who gives a fuck? where does Candace Owens go from here? Right? Again, it feels like, because I've been watching the commentary, right? And the name of this video is Candace Owens is growing on me, the name of this live stream. But it appears it is not just me that Candace Owens is growing on. I've been seeing a lot of regular black people, right? So these are people that are not really deep into politics. These are people who are not really, you know, they're not conservative already, right? They're not liberals, because most black people online aren't really political from my use of the internet. I've been seeing a lot of black people like, you know what, this Candace Owens girl, she ain't all that bad. I saw that in like the comments of the Joe Budden video interview that he did with her. I saw that in the Breakfast Club commentary. And of course, you got the people saying that, oh my God, why is Candace Owens here? She's scum. She talked about George Floyd and, Breonna Taylor. And you saw those comments as well. But I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see the number of black people that seem to be receptive to Candace Owens now. And so, is this going to be a turn for Candace Owens? Right? She's gone from the Daily Wire. And I've seen some people accusing Candace of being a grifter. Right? Basically saying, oh no, this new version of Candace Owens that we have now, that we see now, she's doing this to kind of prep a new audience amongst black people in America. Right? So, she's saying more positive things about black people. She's on the Breakfast Club, and I think she says, she said like black people are the most talented, whatever we do, singing and dancing, whatever. And I was like, okay, Candace. So now her point was that if we are so talented, where's all this black degeneracy coming from, right? Why are they signing the Sexy Reds and the Young Miamis and the gangster rappers when we have so many talented black people that could be signed making actual art? That was her, overall point. But, I do think Candace has, and see, I don't think Candace is a grifter, right? I think that word is overused and it's losing its context. I think Candace has probably taken the advice from some people and has crafted her message a lot better to make it more palatable to black people. Now, I guess an argument could be made if you're doing that in preparation of leaving one audience, which is the white conservative audience, to go to the black audience. Isn't that by definition grifting? Which, okay, I'm not sure if it is or it isn't. I will have to think about that, more. What makes someone a grifter? But I do think she has changed her message to a certain degree. Not the core part, but I think she's. And remember, she was like young. Like, how old is Candace? Oh, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure that I get this right. How old is Candace Owens? So Candace Owens is 34 years old, according to Google, which means that when she probably got hot, what was that? She probably was in her mid to late 20s. As someone who is 30 years old, I can tell you some of my opinions on, politics, social issues are drastically different now, if you compare them to when I was 24, 25 years old. And so there could just be like a natural growth that is taking place. And her learning, she didn't go to school for journalism or anything. She kind of, was making videos on YouTube, and then boom, she blows up. And so she could have just naturally, learn, okay, I have to craft my message a little bit better. I have to, change the way that I deliver certain, pieces of information if I do want to actually have an impact on black people, right? If she's genuine, right? So if you don't think she's a grifter, what I said just makes sense. If you do think she's a grifter, you're like, nah, man, F all that. This is just her leaving the white Republican audience to a black audience, right? Which is fair. That is fair, right? Just because she's growing on me doesn't mean I can't see all the different angles on and how people can kind of land on the conclusion that she's out here just grifting, right? But yeah, I like her, man. I do. I like her. Again, I just respect, when I think about the people that I like, it doesn't mean I like everything that they do or they say. I want to be very clear. But like, and all these individuals are problematic in their own ways if you kind of view the world that way, right? I don't, but many of you do. When I think of, Charlemagne the God, when I think of Kanye West, when I think of Candace Owens, when I think of Donald Trump, when I think of, a couple of other people, what I like about them is how much they don't give an F, right? They're going to tell you what they think at that particular moment in time, and they just kind of leave things where, it needs to be left. I'm not going to try to, persuade you to not view me a certain type of way. I'm not going to, tone down or tweak what I have to say to kind of, fit your sensibilities. No, I'm going to give my genuine opinion, my genuine thoughts on X, Y, and Z. And then, you kind of do with it what you want to do with it. And so kind of watching Candace working at the Daily Wire, being one of the few voices undercutting Ben Shapiro every day, right? Like Ben Shapiro, who, again, I used to watch a lot more. I watch a lot less now, but I'm still a fan of Ben Shapiro's. This whole Israel-Palestine thing is broken Ben's mind. Like he's gone from kind of a sensible voice to he's clearly kind of, yeah, I'm all in on Israel, kill all these brown people in Palestine, right? Like that's kind of my viewpoint of Ben Shapiro, right? And so Candace being there, being the only one that I saw, because again, I don't watch all of Matt Welch's. Is his name Matt Welch? Matt Walsh. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Matt Walsh is somebody else. Matt Walsh. Watching, I haven't watched all of Matt Walsh's. I definitely don't watch Andrew, Clavin, and I don't watch Michael Knowles either, right? So Candace Owens, I watch her more than the rest of them, but I didn't even watch all of Candace stuff. But from what I did see, Candace was kind of the only voice over there that was like, yeah, I'm not buying this whole narrative about, Israel has to do this, and these all of these civilians dying is by accident. Like Candace was like undercutting everything that Shapiro was saying day after day after, and I respect it, right? Because even though Ben Shapiro isn't the boss at the Daily Wire, he is the face, which means he carries a bunch of weight with him over there. And so kind of watching Candace Owens kind of like shit all over Ben Shapiro's narrative, whenever I don't even know if her show was daily or if it was weekly, whatever. Whenever she did her show, I just gained a bunch of respect for her, right? And so I gained a bunch of respect for her for speaking out against, Ben Shapiro and his narrative of the Israeli war. I gained a bunch of respect for her for speaking her honest thoughts about the, black people and black, dysfunction and, the black degeneracy that we have allowed to become black culture. Whether I agree or not, I appreciate her giving her honest thoughts on, George Floyd, on Breonna Taylor, on, all of those like high profile police shootings. Of course, I love her being honest about, politics and how she's going to vote for Trump. Because in the black community, you can't, listen, you lose your black card if people find out you voting for Trump. In the words of Joe Biden, you ain't black. So I just respect those things about her. And I do feel like she's kind of grown into her own. And the criticisms of Candace Owens, I think they come from, many places that I don't want to get into in this video, in this live stream, because honestly, this is I don't really want to do some super long live stream. I'm only like 24 minutes in, so I'm kind of wrapping it up. And so the criticisms of Candace are she's inauthentic, she's disingenuous, she's anti-black, she's misinformed. What else? She's anti-Semitic, right? All these little labels and things, and some of those things might be true. But what they can't say is that she's afraid to speak her mind against the grain, because she's done it to black people, and you can say, well, black people don't already like her, and her audience is not black, so she's not speaking against the grain. Okay, but then we watch her for weeks speak against the war in Israel, and on the conservative side, oh no, that is a thing. Like many of them are all in on the Israel-Palestine war and believing that Israel has the right to do any and everything that they want to do to the Palestinians. So watching her speak out against that and give her opinion against the wave of criticism has been dope to me. So yeah, she's growing on me. She really is. I'm excited to see where she goes next. I hope she doesn't sign with anybody else. I hope she goes the independent route. You know, just go right back to your YouTube. Take whatever money you got, Candace. Build your set in like a room in your house, or rent a little studio somewhere and hire your personal staff. Keep a low budget and just do your show. Like Jason Whitlock, before he went to the Blaze, he had Fearless with Outkick, and his show was pretty much just like a desk with a microphone, and he was just like talking to, like, kind of what I'm doing now, but a lot more polished, really, right? He would just talk to the microphone, and I enjoyed it. The show was usually like a half hour, and I enjoyed that show a lot, right? And he went to the Blaze, and he made it a little bit bigger, and now he has like guests on and pastors, but his best shows are still when it's just him monologuing for like an hour. Like, not even close. Those are his best shows. So, Candace, if you ever see this, I don't know why you would. To the 14 people watching, if it really is 14, please send this to Candace Owens. Tell her, or you even clip this last piece and say, hey, Candace, listen to what Crew has to say about you, and do your own show. Don't sign with nobody. Don't sign. I saw InfoWars offered her a deal. Don't take it, Candace, at all. And salute to Alex Jones, but that is kind of the abyss, really, when it comes to entertainment. Now, Alex Jones is kind of the GOAT, right? Like, as far as independent media goes, he is the GOAT. So he has my respect, in that regard. But I do think it is important for Candace to kind of not go too far into the abyss. And InfoWars is the abyss. She's not going to get an offer from the Blaze at all. Just be independent. Yeah, run your own thing. Be independent. Maybe X will offer her something. It wouldn't shock me if Elon offered her something. He doesn't seem shy about getting into like business with people that might have risk baggage and might say the wrong thing. Yeah, but listen, I'm looking forward to the next 5 years of Candace Owens. I really am. Like, I am. I like it. I like it. So, thank you guys. This is my second stream for seeing through this, and hopefully the audio is a little bit better compared to my first stream. I'll find out once I end this stream. But please, tune in. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube, and I will see you guys soon.